Okay, this next part of the video, we're going to talk about where white gains a pawn storm. So a very, very standard attacking idea, where we basically see that black is going for the queenside attack. Now we want to see it from the white point of view, where white is going for the attack on the black king side. So really it is standard, what we call English attack opening, set up by white. The very standard attack is to play the moves G4, H4, G5, H5. So white will basically push his pawns like this. So the pawns will...
He's going to play the grob.
Yeah, sorry.
What are we doing? Put some Nidorf. Why start pushing your G pawn?
Well, I'm not, you know, I don't know. Okay, let's get on with the game anyway. Sorry, I'm losing the plot here. Yeah, it's been a long day. It's been
that long. Lazy git.
Yeah. So okay, so in this game, this is I'll just explain who the players are. So this is Emil Sutovsky again. Amazing.
Do you have something for him or something?
Well,
do you have pictures of him on your bedroom
wall?
Yeah,
I've got about 5,000 pictures of
Sutovsky, the Sutovsky shrine.
In his swimming trunks, yeah.
Oh, God.
Oh, no.
Yeah, thanks for putting that image into my mind. Just what I wanted to have. But he's a great player.
He seems to be an expert attacking play, really. I mean,
he is,
and he's played many great. Actually, I played a great game against Gibraltar. Or he played a great game against me.
Anand's favourite game of all time, apparently.
Yeah, well, he said in an interview in New in Chess, and it was like one of these interviews I have in New in Chess at the end of the magazine, and basically they ask you lots of questions, and they said, which is your favourite game of all time? And he said, Gormali Sutovsky was a lot of fun. And that's a compliment to be included in Anand's. Okay, I was on the losing side, but it's still, it's still a compliment.
Yeah, it's good to be, one of the most famous losers of all time. I'd love to. I'll put that. You can put that on your grave, your gravestone. Anand's favourite loser of all time.
Well, to be a great champion, you also need to have losers, Simon. This is the point you're missing.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah.
What's it? What they say? It's not the actual winning that counts; it's the competing.
It's the losing.
It's the losing. Yeah.
Okay.
So, in this game, white goes for this very aggressive English type attack.
So we're looking at this the white side because it's a white idea.
So white's strategic plan really is to play the moves G4, H4, and go for basically a pawn storm on the king's side.
And we saw this in Gallagher's game, just kind of set
Absolutely.
So,
but we clearly see we've already seen that black has very good counter chances himself.
Gallagher played B5 here, but in this game. This main line is played, and this is what you had as well in the game earlier you showed with the white pieces, I believe. Yeah,
I mean we saw a game where
you play knight E2, I think, in knight G3 against someone.
Yeah, that's right, against Nico Schwerz. Very correct. This is one of the main lines actually. Okay. I've had this as white and black.
So it's a race. Okay.
Yeah, this gets very, very sharp. It's a huge amount of theory.
Which, again, we're trying to avoid because we don't think that's the best way to learn.
Yeah, so knight BC1 was played.
Typical B3.
B3. I think this is supposed to be okay for black, this particular line. But
wow, look at this. Rook takes A2.
Rook takes A2.
Wow, this is all getting a bit mental already. So black's having the first shot. But let's see if it lands. Yeah,
so clearly demonstrate that black has very good resources, attacking resources, utilising the bishop on E6.
Yeah. And this is black's idea to get the attack with this.
Absolutely.
Okay, so he wins some material back. Probably.
I think this is still theory.
Yeah, it's got to be, yeah. So why?
So I think white's next move
this is what you wanted to demonstrate.
This is a very typical device. Some of you may be familiar with this idea already.
Yeah.
But clearly, as white in the Sicilian, you're often playing for the plan of H5 and G6. But there's actually a way to speed up that idea. And that is the idea that Sutovsky employed in this game, is by playing the move G6 immediately.
And, in these positions, every tempo counts for the attack, sponsored by Coca-Cola. But every tempo does count. So this is just the way to gain a tempo. And I remember a very famous game. Some of you might be aware of it. One of my favourite games of all time, Macau Tau. I think against Koblenz, where Tao did the same idea, and I played this in the Sicilian. This idea of G6, and Danny, show us what happens after Black has to take this pawn.
Yeah, because the threat, suddenly this bishop has become very powerful, he threatens to take, so Black is effectively forced to take.
And now the real idea, H5.
H5,
and White gives up a pawn to open up the H file. So this is what we're trying to show, G6 and H5, something to watch out for. Next game we'll see how Gary
speeds up, because if White had played H5 too quickly, if White played H5 immediately, it's not quite as quick.
Maybe Black can now play Queen A3 or something and get his own attack.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's show that on the board. Let me just show that.
Yeah,
because every
so H5, Queen A3.
Threatening mate and the bishop. And this is Black's getting a bit of an attack here. So every tempo does count. So yeah,
absolutely, totally agree with you, Simon. So G6 is played. Really, it's just a typical trick. And I believe, I was saying to Simon actually the other day, I was saying to Simon that in every opening there's probably 6 or 7 tricks and ideas. I think we've already seen a few already, and that every player needs to know about. Yeah. And this is one of them. This idea of going G6 when you take, you go H5 to really speed up your attack. I mean, ideally in this position, if Black was to take, actually in the game Black played G5. If Black was to take, I mean, obviously ideally White would love to go Queen on D1 takes H5, but that's not legal.
No.
So, and then it'll be checkmate very quickly. But of course, in the game you can take with the H. But I think here clearly Sutovsky would have fancied his chances.
Queen H1 come in. White's got a nasty attack.
I mean, I'm not saying it's winning by any means, but it's an attack.
It is, yeah.
And when you're faced with a player of Sutovsky's attacking potential, you'd be very concerned. You'd think, maybe I can somehow run with a king eventually. Maybe you could play a move like.
Maybe it's defendable, but it's just the point of the concept here. And
yeah, we're really trying to show you concepts in this video. We're not necessarily, obsessed about the idea whether this idea is correct or not. We just want to show you the ideas. So here, Black desperately tried to clog the defence. He played G5,
and here comes Harry, H6. And White is landing his blows first. I mean, whether it's working or not the main thing. But I think just to show you this idea of G6 and H5, I think we can either leave it at that. I think we should show how Black should deal with this in the next video.
Sure.
But generally, that's something well worth.
Can you play G6 here, so just out of interest, mate?
I was wondering. I'm assuming now there's going to be H7 check.
All right.
It has to be H7.
I go King G7.
And now we have to think about the ideas Sutovsky had, which I'm speaking very slowly because
you're trying to work it.
Maybe you can try to get the Queen to H6.
I was thinking about Queen G1 or something.
Queen F1 to H3, hitting the knight even. I mean.
But is he not coming?
He's coming as well. I mean, it's just a messy position. That's why
maybe
I don't
here,
analyse it too much.
Yeah,
I mean,
sure. Maybe here I can I do some crazy stuff like this?
Yeah, maybe.
And then
nice.
G6.
Threatening Queen takes G6 check.
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, it's very complex, Danny. So I don't know. But I mean, the concept of G6 and H6, H5 is getting White the attack. That's what you
clearly see. It's quite a dangerous idea.
Yeah, that's it. When the pawns are like this on G5 and H4, G6, giving up a pawn followed by H5 is the rule of this video. And let's just show how Black can deal with that in the next one.
Yeah, sure.
Let's do it.